Hello there, I am the Christian Relationship Counsellor. I've started a new channel on YouTube called at Christian Relationship Counsellor with one L. And I do hope you'll go there to subscribe. But in the meantime, I am just talking to you on TikTok. And today I wanted to talk about family because so many people believe that because they didn't grow up with their parents or because they didn't have a good upbringing or because they were abused or neglected, that this gives them license to say, well, what is there in this life for me? I can misbehave, I can treat people abominably, I can not be a nice person, in other words. But you know, I was reading Matthew, I'm going to read it out to you now, 13:48, which says, well, it was about when Jesus was talking to crowds and his mother and brothers were outside and they wanted to speak to them, and they said, your mother and your brother are outside waiting to speak to you. And he said, who is my mother? Who is my brothers? Who are my brothers? Then he pointed to his disciples and said, these are my mother and brothers. Anyone who does the will of my Father in heaven is my brother, sister, and mother. Now, what he's saying is that whoever is important to him and who shares his values, his morals, his principles, is his family. You don't have to have a biological family in order to live a good life. But most people, they feel, because of society, I guess, and because how people make you feel, and you think about when you're young, how you were bullied if you didn't have your parents or if you didn't have a father. They would make you feel different. They would exclude you. They might make fun of you. And so you ended up feeling deprived. You ended up feeling resentful. You had all of these emotions that you were going through that made you feel less than. It made you feel as though you didn't have to try. And it made you feel as though you needed to exploit other people, depend on other people, because you didn't have anyone to depend on when you were young. And because you were deprived, you feel as though you need to deprive other people as an adult. So what Jesus is saying is that we've all, even though we don't have biological parents to raise us in the way we wanted to be raised, there was always someone there to guide us, to help us, to instruct us, to love us, to nurture us. Everybody has someone. It might not be in the form of a parent. It could be a foster parent. It could be a stranger. It could be anyone, literally anyone. It could be a teacher at school. But there's always someone. God always sends you someone to lift you up, to make you feel better, to encourage you. And yeah, you might even say to that person, oh, well, you're not complaining about, I didn't have a mother, I didn't have a father. My mum used to leave me on my own. My father used to beat me. My mother ignored me. My father exploited me or abused me. And you can have all of these reasons why you shouldn't be a whole person as an adult. But like I said, God in this passage is telling you who are your mother, your brothers and your sisters. In other words, who your family is. Your family is those who share the will of God. That means show love, show respect. Let me see what I've put here. Jesus was saying here that family does not need to be biological. Who shows you love, direction, support? They are your family. People who have adverse childhood experiences, they call it ACEs. There's always somebody around to treat you well. And it might not be in the form that you would like. It might even be an employer. When you want a job and somebody just looks at you and say, look, you're not really the person who we're supposed to be recruiting, but I'm going to take a chance with you. Similarly, coaches, they can take a chance with you. Anybody who takes a chance with you Anybody who brings you into their fold and looks after you, that is your family. So don't feel that just because you don't have biological parents, that you need to be wayward, that you need to become a criminal, that you need to do bad things to people. ACEs does not justify bad behaviour. In other words, having a bad upbringing does not justify bad behaviour. Yes, it might make you feel resentful, disappointed, angry, revengeful. But who are you hurting? Neglect, betrayal is no excuse to do wrong. Disappointment can be used for growth. All these things that happen to us can be used for growth. My mother, I didn't grow up, well, my mother put me in a foster home when I was about 3 or 4. I don't know how long I was in there for. All I know is that my mother wasn't around. And yes, having that instability did make me a precarious child as a teenager and as an adolescent. But I was always learning. I was always growing. And as I get older, I realise that those experiences I had put me in good stead now. It helps me to understand how not to feel victimised or feel like a victim, because feeling like a victim doesn't get you anywhere. It doesn't help you to grow. It just makes you feel sorry for yourself, and it just keeps you in the same place. You stay stationary. If you look at the experiences that you've had and you learn from them, and they are the footstool or the propeller to move you on and upwards, you're going to be in a much better place. So all I'm saying is that listen to what Jesus said to those crowds. Who is my mother? Who is my brother? Who is my sister? Anyone who does the will of my Father in heaven is my brother, sister, and mother. And what is the will of your Father in heaven? It is to obey the 10 commandments. Most important one is love, because when you love, that kind of overrides every other commandment. Because if you love somebody, you're not going to murder, you're not going to steal, you're not going to bear false witness and lie. You're not going to commit adultery. So, love is the key. And so all I've got to share with you today is those few words. I hope you find them helpful. And like I said, if you do, please subscribe to my channel. The Christian Relationship channel, or the Christian Relationship Counsellor on YouTube. And that's all for now. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.